Hey there guys, earlier today I live streamed Clash of Wills. We figured out this boss on stream, we got ourselves rank 1, it was pretty messy. If you want to watch the replay, it's on the channel. Go to the live stream replay section of my channel. But in this video, we're going to be going back and we're going to be doing another rank 1 clear for a standalone YouTube video. Now, I will say, there is a little bit of randomness involved in this clear. So let's get in here and give it a go. So I'm going to have a turn chart in the comments for you guys for the first 8 turns. Starting on turn 8, the boss does random target unprovocable zombie. And because we have Melissa, we get to roll the dice and see who gets targeted with zombie. If the boss targets your tank, it's basically game over. But pretty much anyone else is okay to be targeted, unless the boss targets the very specific combo of Melissa and 2B. Then it's also game over. So, as you can see, very exciting, very random. Let's get in here and give it a go. Now, there's probably ways to make it less random by, like, for example, not using Melissa. But Melissa's really good here, so we're going to use her. Anyway, so on turn 1, there's an ambush. It does a big healing down, gravity attack, etc. Also, the boss does buffs on himself. So what we're going to do on turn 1, we're going to start with, not yet actually on 2B, we're going to use Melissa to do shared immunity, chronic flow, and parasol shield. We're going to use Elena, who is just dealing damage in this clear. Now, Elena is starting in the shift form. We don't want her auto-covering. So we're going to be doing, in the base form, Crystal Echo, Shelga, and with this power, I'll protect you for the morale fill. Abigail. Now, turn 1 is very, very painful. So in order to deal with that, Abigail is going to cover. Then we're going to Omni cover for bigger mitigation. And then we're going to contingency plan. 2B is going to do her machine killer twice and then avoid. Lilith will now do unstoppable corruption for the dark imbue and then double rapture to heal the party. And then Richt will do break and then just some more breaks in the shift form. So Lilith is topping us back off. Now Abigail is only at 37,000 out of 51 after that. Well, a little bit of regeneration too. But she should survive this with Omni cover and the racial mitigations from Melissa and all that kind of good stuff. There you go. As you can see, the boss is pretty painful. And I'm choosing to tank with Abigail instead of Elena. Elena can tank it, and people have done it. But I just find that it's a little bit easier with Abigail. So on this turn, we're going to go ahead and use Melissa to target herself and do her LB to get her seconds of support ready for turn 5. We don't want to use the SLB, we want to use the normal LB. Abigail is now going to cover and break the boss. Now, the boss also put up some buffs, but thankfully Richt auto-dispelled the buffs on turn 2, something Ellesperis will not do for you. Richt is now going to, in the base form, in the shift form, is going to just triple bolting. We're going to have Elena in the base form do her base form LB. We're going to use the LB of Lilith. Now, Lilith is going to auto-cover because of this. It's okay because she's going to stay in slot number 6 and it won't interfere. And we'll go ahead and chain this, and we'll go ahead and chain this up. This is not going to deal much damage at all. We've got no amplify whatsoever yet, but a little bit of damage, Anyway, now the morale gauge is filled. If you don't fill the morale gauge this quickly, that's okay. We're not doing a real burst until turn 5. So there you go. Some attacks on Abigail, etc. No big deal. Okay, now we're going to use Melissa to start getting our big damage going. We're going to amplify. So we are going to, first of all, SLB our Abigail so that we can get big mitigations, the reason she's here. We're going to now do ramping Dark Amp with Melissa. We're going to do Dragon Killer on Richt, and we're going to do Minutes to Might, or Minutes of Might. Richt is going to do his shifted LB. Elena will go to the shift form. We're going to do Grace, Bolting, and Judgment. So Grace, Bolting, and Judgment. Lilith will save her SLB. She'll just Rapture and then double Betrayal. And we're going to have 2B do the shifted LB for the modifier buff. We can go ahead and pop this big attack and magic buff and give it a go. Okay, A little bit more damage here. So we're trying to get the boss to like around 75, 70 or so by turn 4 so that we can push the threshold on turn 5. And we should. We're kind of on track at this point. You know, the Amplify is ramping up. Some more damage than Abigail, no big deal. On turn 4 is going to be a big damaging attack, but thankfully, with Abigail, we're okay. So first of all, Abigail is the first action this turn, is now going to refresh cover. We're going to do Drone type, because notice the boss has a buff and then break. So the boss has attack, magic buff, etc., which we're going to get rid of with Abigail. Perfect Dispel. Now, after that, we're going to use Melissa to do Dragon Killer on 2B. Then we're going to do All-Consuming Darkness to stop the boss's healing on the threshold. And then Bar Darkja because we're imbuing the boss as well. 2B on this turn can do R40 in the base form to refill her LB gauge. Next turn we're doing the Big Burst. Lilith can just once again do... Lilith is actually going to do Unending Nightmare for the Reaper Killer. And then Rapture Betrayal. Richt can do just triple bolting here. And Elena can just triple bolting here. And we can get a little bit more damage from Rift and 2B. Chain it up. So this should get the boss to around 75-ish. That's fine. That's fine. And we know we did more attacks. Don't worry about that. It's not a problem. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're going to burst and push that threshold. Now the threshold, the boss won't attack you, but he's going to dispel everything. So before we do that, we are going to do all the auto casting. Okay, Melissa is going to Dragon Killer on Richt again. We're also going to Seconds of Support on 2B, and we're going to, it doesn't really matter what else, honestly, we can just shared immunity. Richt will base form LB for more damage. We will Shifted LB Elena. We will SLB Lilith. We will base form LB 2B, and then Abigail will jump in the chain here with a bolting strike, so triple bolting. So before we do this, we'll go ahead and do attack and magic buff. We'll do a big defense and spirit buff. And we're going to chain this up. This should push the threshold. This will give us the 100 count chain score, and this will also give us the 2.5 damage cap. There it is. Boom. We did 2.9, so we're good on damage here. So now the boss is going to heal to full, but because of Melissa, he only healed to 75. The boss also, as you can see, has completely dispelled our party, except for the re-raise, which is permanent and undispellable, which is why Melissa is going to troll your party and make you very, very sad here. Not much we can do about that. We're going to just have to deal with it. Okay, so all the buffs are gone. All the boss's buffs are gone. The boss is now also absorbing Dark Element because why not? Big middle finger to Ellesperis. She's not bad enough. We're going to make her clash even more annoying to her. And then some undispellable buffs, which we're going to use Richt to get rid of. So Richt is going to shift here. We're going to, before we do that, we lost all our buffs. So what we're going to do is Lilith is going to Unstoppable to imbue the party, and then Rapture and Betrayal. 2B is going to, in this form, we're going to shift here actually. Yeah, okay, so before we do all of this, we're going to use Melissa. So Melissa is going to start ramping Amplify again. We're going to Parasol Shield for the mitigation, and we're going to Shared Immunity. Remember, we lost all the buffs. We lost cover as well. So Abigail is now going to cover. We're going to Omni cover because we lost our mitigation. So we're going to Omni cover, and we're going to Contingency. It's still going to deal a lot of damage here. Let's see here. Richt is now going to, in the shift form, we're going to Moment of Weakness, we're going to Radiant Protection, and we're going to Bolting Strike. Looking at my turn chart here. Elena on this turn can just triple bolting. And I'm noticing my turn chart is the wrong icon. There we go. And then 2B on this turn is going to, that's right, 2B is going to Machine Killer, Avoid, and use her Magnus to refill her LB gauge. So we're going to click Richt, Lilith, and then the other two. This is not really going to be a chain turn. Honestly, this is mostly set up after the threshold. If you can deal some damage, wonderful. If not, don't worry about it. Okay, so the boss's threshold buffs are all gone, as you can see. Now, that being said, the boss is going to rebuff very, very often in this phase. As you'll notice, the boss has all of these resistances. Thankfully, Richt can auto-dispel them next turn. As you see, Richt has gotten rid of them. This is why I was complaining about Ellesperis having a worse version of this, because yeah, that's kind of a really good tool that Richt and Kaito can use. Anyway, turn 7, we're going to get ready for bursting. So we're going to use the shifted LB of Richt. We're going to use the shifted LB of Elena. We're going to Rapture and Double Betrayal on Lilith. We're going to have 2B do her shifted LB. And Abigail can now do her SLB. And let's see here. So what we're going to do with Melissa, we're going to do Dragon Killer on Richt, and then we're going to do Double Bar Darkja. And actually my turn chart is a little bit wrong. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to click Melissa and then immediately click the rest. So Melissa and then the rest. That way we can get their LB filled a little bit and deal some damage right here. So next turn, we're going to have the full-powered burst. We're also going to have the 100 amplify. And we're going to push the boss as far as we can into phase 2, because on turn 8, we're getting random target zombie on 2 people. So 2 people are going to die. If it happens to be 2B and Melissa, it's game over. If it happens to be Abigail at all, it's probably game over. I guess we can keep trying if Abigail gets zombied, but it's probably game over if that happens. So RNG is fun. So let's keep going. So let's go ahead and get some big buffs. Let's use LB of Richt. Okay, so now we're going to use Abigail to triple bar Faraja to fill the LB gauge up, everyone that needs to burst again. So there we go. So we're going to LBU, SLBU. We're going to base form LBU. And we will, with, what's your girl's name? Whatever her name is. We're going to Minutes of Might with Abigail. No, Melissa. I'm sorry. We're going to Dragon Killer on 2B, and we're going to... Doesn't really matter. We can Protect Ga, we can Bar Darkja. Let's just Protect Ga. Not that it matters, because the boss's physical damage is like just a one-hit kill. So here we go. So let's deal a little bit of... Oh, I didn't shift Rick to the base form. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wasted damage. Wasted damage. Anyway, here comes some big damage and then some zombie. Who is getting zombie? Abigail and Lilith. So not only did one of our tanks get zombied, both our tanks got zombied. This is like literally worst case. Actually, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could have been Melissa as well. So if Melissa gets killed, have 2B summon Phoenix to keep going. If anyone else got killed, have Melissa full life them. So because both of our tanks just got zombied, isn't that exciting and fun? I guess Elena can step in here and try to Omnicover and maybe salvage this. Let's see if we can salvage this. I'm doubtful. Let's find out. That's a really unfortunate that Abigail got zombied. So we're going to go ahead and full life here. Let's go ahead and Uncontrollable Darkness to try to salvage this. And, I don't know. Shared immunity. You know, we do have Abigail's mitigation still, so Elena might be okay. Unfortunately, her base form is geared for damage, not for tanking right now. This will be fun. So, Celestial Guard. Let's pretend like we're going to survive this. So we're going to... I mean, let's just... We might be okay. Let's Celestial, and let's go ahead and do this. Richt is the boss buffed? The boss is buffed right here, so we need to dispel those boss's buffs. Unfortunately, Richt's dispel was not available. We were going to spell it with Abigail. At this point, you're kind of just free for all in it. You're just struggling and doing the best you can. We're going to normal attack Richt to perfect dispel the boss with normal attack. Unfortunately, that got rid of the boss's imbue as well. So ordering was horrible there. This is not going well. Just keep it going and hope for the best here. So we are Omni-covering with Lilith. I'm sorry, with Elena. I don't know what the boss does on turn 9, so we might be fine. We might be... Oh, it's actually only an Omni... Oh, this is going to be fine. It's only an Omni/turn. That wasn't a problem at all. That wasn't a problem at all. We're good. We're good. Okay, unfortunately, we don't have mitigation. We do have Omni-cover, though, so we're fine. So we're going to go ahead and Omni-cover with you. Okay, let's do it actually this way. Let's go ahead and regular cover. Let's Omni-cover. And I guess we're going to drone type because the boss is probably buffed again. He is. So we're going to do that. Melissa is going to shared. We're going to Shelga. And we're going to re-imbue the dead people. No, we're not. We're going to share. Yes, we have to, actually. We have to. So we're going to Shelga. We're going to shared. And we're going to re-imbue the dead people. No killers. No killers for anyone who died. You shouldn't have died. Let's go ahead and go back to the shift form with Elena. Let's have Lilith just go back to supporting. Let's have 2B go to the shift form, and we're just gonna resume. We're gonna just keep going. Like I said, you gotta just free for all it at this point after turn 8, and just keep it going. Thankfully, the boss doesn't have a turn count, so even though we're just flopping around right now, it's fine. We just keep going, keep pushing the boss, keep doing damage. The boss is gonna do zombie again every few turns. We don't have Abigail's mitigation right now, as you see. That's very painful. Thankfully, she's omni covering, so it's okay. We have deathly plague again. But this turn, we are going to have Abigail's mitigation, so we're fine. Out of curiosity, are we healing down? We are not, so we can actually, we're okay for the moment. So we're going to do this. We're going to, let's go ahead and get some killers going again with Dragon Killer. Let's do it on 2B. Let's seconds of support 2B. We're really going to go hard for the damage here. And let's go ahead and Curse Control. We're going to not use Lilith. We're going to go ahead and Lilith just Rapture. Actually, we're going to Unstoppable Rapture and Betrayal. Wait for Lilith, wait for 2B. Let's go ahead and do this. 2B, is the boss buffed? The boss is not buffed. Outstanding. Unfortunately, Rick's LB is not ready to go. So we're going to use this to auto-dispel the boss next turn, which will be convenient. And we'll go ahead and do this. Again, we're just like pushing buttons and getting things done. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to start with this, then we're going to chain this. And we're just kind of dealing some damage right now. We don't have Mirage at the moment. We don't have Machine Killers. We're missing quite a few buffs right now. Hopefully the boss doesn't do single target. Oh, it's only this turn. Oh, Metal Fang is actually a problem. There's 195,000 damage on Lilith. Like I told you, the boss does crazy damage. And there goes Lilith. We got zombied again. She did get a zombie. But that's okay. We can just raise her. Lilith is not critical, thankfully. She is our healer, and actually we're kind of hurt right now, so that's a little bit of a problem, but we're still okay. So we're going to full life over here to Lilith, and we'll go ahead and use a Curaga to heal the party. And I guess we can Parasol Shield, question mark. Yeah, let's Parasol Shield. That's going to keep Abigail nice and healthy. So Abigail will break. Is the boss buffed this turn? The boss is not, because we auto-dispelled with Rick. So we're good here. So we can now go ahead and cover. Let's Contingency. And let's break Magic. We're going to go ahead and have 2B. We're going to give some Machine Killer to the party this turn. And some Mirage. So that 195,000 damage attack doesn't do anything bad again. So we're going to go ahead and double this. We're going to do this. Lilith, you just got raised. Let's LBU and LBU for some damage here. We can go ahead and pop this, and we keep it going. Just keep it going. Keep it going till the boss dies. So I think there's no zombie this turn, but I do think this is a beam turn. Beams are painful. No, it's an Omni-Slash turn. We're fine. This is a nothing turn. So the boss is buffed, but thankfully we can get rid of that with Abigail. A lot of perfect dispels on this party. And if Abigail was dead or something, then we could use Rick to normal attack if we really needed to. But you got to get rid of those buffs. But I think we just won. So let's go ahead and break, and perfect dispel the boss to get rid of everything. We can LBU. We can, let's go to the base form and just chain you up. And this should be the win. The boss is basically dead at this point. Melissa can do double bar dark jump to fill LB gauge. And let's do a Dragon Killer. That's not Dragon. Let's do a Dragon Killer on Rick. Rick can LB again. Let's see, we didn't quite fill Elena. That's okay. We can just bolting. We can do the attack thing. And that should be the end of the boss. Got it. There's a rank 1. Okay. So as you saw, you basically, the turn chart will be until turn 8. Once turn 8 happens, here comes the zombie. It's random target. Because we're using Melissa, roll the dice. Have fun with it. If so, so we had an almost worst case scenario there, and we still recovered. Now here's a glitch: the final morale value is going to show 0. It's bugged for everyone, so for everyone it's a 0. So 1, 105, 000, that is your perfect score. And here is the damage breakdown. Richt was our primary breaker, also a buff removal, also great damage. Auto casting perfect dispel. 2B was our machine killer, also really high damage. Elena was our leader because we didn't pull for lightning. Also some damage, and hey, Elena saved the day. That Omni cover came in clutch when both the tanks died. Literally both of the freaking tanks died. The plan was in case Abigail died, I was gonna Omni cover with Lilith instead. But she died too because of zombie. That was fun. Then Lilith was our healer. Lilith is also our only source of Reaper killer. And she's our big Dark in Peril. No one else does a good Dark in Peril except Lilith. And then Melissa is Dark Amplify, Dragon Killer, Morale Fill, Recovery in case of zombie, etc. So let me show you the gear. Now that is very, very of a messy clear, but it'll get it done for you. It'll get it done. As you saw, I did it on stream, and I just did it for you in a video as well. So here is the party. Now as far as unit swaps go, what if I don't have Lilith? What if I don't have Richt, etc.? Lilith is the primary healer. The boss does big healing down, and Lilith is really good at healing the party, even through a healing reduction. I would say she's not required. You can heal with, for example, what's your girl's name? Melissa. You could heal with Kresnik, stuff like that. Lilith does deal some damage, though, and she also is our Dark in Peril. So if you're not using Lilith, you're probably going to want to swap in something like Malphase and go with a Wind team, or maybe swap in like Nora and go with a Thunder team or something. As far as Elena, she's our leader skill. If you don't have her, hopefully you pulled for lightning. Rick's leader skill might be good enough at 500%. I didn't try it. Honestly, damage was not super problematic here. The problem thing was the zombie. 2B was our machine killer. Other than that, nothing specific. She does do a lot of Mirage for the party, and those, like as you saw, those 200,000 damage attacks on Lilith. Our Lilith, who has 15,000 unbuffed spirit or defense, and she took 194,000 damage from a physical hit. So the physical hits are just not tankable, pretty much. You're going to have to use like either Runda, which we don't have, or Mirage. So Lilith, or 2B is good for that. Abigail is our tank. Really good mitigations. I've seen people use Elena as the tank. I tried it, and it was working, but it was harder. I feel like it's easier to just bring Abigail. The damage is not that bad, so honestly, I just brought Abigail and made it nice and smooth. Abigail is a great tank here. Because also Abigail has lots of perfect dispels. And then Melissa is Dragon Killer, Morale Fill, Dark Support, LB buff, cooldown reduction, etc., etc. is really good here. That being said, she does absolutely troll you with the re-raises. So if you are using Melissa, you're going to have to just roll the dice with zombie. But we actually had a worst case scenario, or almost worst case scenario, and still recovered. So I was actually almost going to cut the video, but I'm glad I didn't. We actually pulled that off. Anyway, gear, morale gear. Nothing else matters. The party doesn't really take damage, so there it is. Nothing else matters. Just morale fill. Abigail is full evasion because you can evade the claw and the storm. So full evasion because they are hybrids, and she does cover it even with magic cover. There we go, and then just some bulk. You don't need any resistance. Resistance is irrelevant because all the elemental damage can be evaded, which is funny. But there you go. So ignore resistances. 2B is just damage right here. There you go. There you go. Shift form, same thing. Richt, just damage, geared well. There you go. There you go. Same thing. Elena, in the base form, we geared for damage. Because every now and then we were using the base form LB for modifier buff. So we geared it with a two-handed spirit sword. This is the best two-handed spirit greatsword. It's still not that great, but it worked. There it goes. And then shift form was just pure damage. And there we go. And then Lilith is using a sword because of Richt. And then here we go. There's her setup, and she was not passive provoking. She was just targeted, etc. Anyway, turn chart will be in the comments up until turn 8. After that, have fun with it. All right. Once I play with it more, I'll post more videos, I hope. Anyway, see you then.